We're continuing to look at the book of Revelation and my favorite places in it, and then we'll go to the next book backwards. But we're looking at some of my favorite passages of Scripture in different books of the Bible, and we're starting backwards. We're going to go to Revelation to Genesis instead of Genesis to Revelation. And my next favorite place is one that most of you can relate to because it's found in Revelation chapter 21, verses 1 through 5. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. Well, with all of the damage that you saw through the seals, the trumpets, and the bowls, it's no wonder it had to be replaced. A new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. There was no longer any no longer any sea. And I saw a holy city, a new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, and made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them. And he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall no longer be any mourning or death, no more crying, no more pain, for these things will have passed away. And he who sits on the throne says, Behold, I am making all things new. And he said, Write, for these words are faithful and true. I can't tell you how many funerals that I have used those words because I think it's important for us to know how wonderful heaven is going to be and how wonderful it's going to be when God is dwelling among us. And certainly those that have gone before us are already in his presence in a place called heaven. But the first part of this passage that I want to bring your attention to is that this new heaven and earth is going to be like a bride adorned for her husband. Now, I've done a lot of weddings, and I know that with very few exceptions, every bride that stood before me had done everything she could to get her hair, her makeup, her clothing, every part of her body, every part of the flower arrangements that she would carry, as beautiful as she could possibly make it. And many, many of them were just gorgeous brides. And so here he relates very, very well to most of us that have been through weddings. And that is that this new city that he's releasing to us is going to be so beautiful. It's going to be like a bride adorned for her husband. And the second thing that I want to point out to you is that he's going to dwell among us. Just as Christ dwelled among the apostles and the disciples, God himself is going to dwell among us. It's going to be a wonderful thing after all that's gone on before. But here's the best part, especially for those that have lost loved ones. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There'll no longer be any death. There'll no longer be any mourning. There'll no longer be any crying or pain, for these things will have all passed away. Imagine a world, imagine an eternity with no more tears, no more death, no more mourning, and no more crying or pain. We were with some senior adults today, and she said, my knees just won't work. They're just so sore and swollen. And I thought about this passage, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'm looking forward to that day too, with my shoulder and my knees and my hips. No more mourning, no more crying, and no more pain. These things will have passed away. And he who sits on the throne, listen carefully to this, it's so important. He who sits on the throne said, Behold, I am making all things new. Write, for these words are faithful and true. Faithful and true words. My thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.